When you first plug in the control, it's going to say CON, which is going to stand for conditioner. We're going to be programming this one for a conditioner. So what you're going to do is push the menu scroll button, so it's going to save the CON. And the first thing that's going to come up is going to say 75. That's the unit size. If you're not sure the size of the unit, refer to the label on the side of the control. Look at the model number. The number in the model number is going to be your unit size. Use your up and down arrow buttons, to adjust it accordingly. Starting, 400 would be a 4 cubic foot. 250 is a 2.5 cubic foot. 150 is a 1.5. 100 is a 1, and so on and so forth. We're going to leave this at a 75, which is a 3/4 cubic foot system. We're going to advance that using the menu scroll button, store that, and the next thing that's going to come up is the resin type. Default's at INX 2000, which is the V resin. That's V as in Victor. Your other options are INX 100, which is T as in Thomas, and your last option is INX 34, which is D as in David. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this at INX 2000. And if you're not sure what the resin type is based on the number, the letter designation will be in the model number. So just adjust it accordingly based on that. So once you have that in, you're going to use the menu scroll button, advance towards that. It's going to come up with a 5, and that's your backwash time. That's adjustable if you need to do it. Otherwise, that's the default. The brine rinse time is going to be based on what you're selecting as your model. It is adjustable as well, but not necessary unless you really want to. Then your fast rinse time will come next, which defaults at 3, and it's also adjustable. Once you have that in and you press menu scroll, it's going to blink 3 times, and that's going to store all that information in, and the time of day is going to come up. Now, we still have some other programming to do here, such as the time. So if I push the menu scroll button, you see my clock set will start flashing. Then I can use my up and down arrow buttons to set the time accordingly. Keep it in mind that you don't set the hours and minutes separately. If you notice it just wraps around just like all the other RainSoft computerized controls. And when you get to the desired time, just simply press the menu scroll button to advance it to the next thing, which moves the bar to hour of regeneration. Just like all the other controls, it defaults at the 2 a.m. If you need to change it, once again, use your up and down arrow buttons to adjust that. And then push your menu scroll button to advance it to the next thing, which is going to be the days between regenerations. Now, to determine days between regenerations and the pounds of salt that you're going to need, there's a chart in the manual that will kind of guide you along to properly set that. For demonstration purposes, I'm just going to leave the days between at 3, and then I'm going to advance it to the pounds of salt. And based on the system that I chose, it automatically is going to default to the low salting, which is 2 pounds of salt for the TC75. Using that INX 2000 resin. But I can change those accordingly. The more salt I use, the less days between regeneration I need to go, and vice versa. So whichever works best for your particular installation. Once you have that, press the menu scroll, and it's going to blink 3 times and come back with the time. Now the computer's fully set and ready to go. The only other features that you have, if you ever need to go back in, you can to make any changes. You can press the up arrow button where it says access code, and then if you press the up arrow button 2 times, just like the access code on EC4, it'll bring you right back there, and you can make any changes that you need to make. Otherwise, just go ahead and advance it through. Once you get through everything, it's going to blink 3 times, save those changes, and you're back to kind of where you started. Now there's a feature that you can tell how many hours since the last regeneration. And simply, you just press and hold the down arrow button, and it's going to tell you how many hours since the last regeneration. This one regenerated 32 hours ago. I'm going to press menu scroll to exit out of that. And that's all there is to the program.